This is my brutality! I eat, sleep, bleed. The demons in your dreams. I eat, sleep, bleed.
Rhea Ripley, dummy mommy. Rhea Ripley is a draw that we haven't seen the likes of in years. We'll get to the character work and wrestling a little later on in the video, but this dialogue takes precedence. And if you were only here for the breakdown of the wrestler, there are timestamps below. You can love your Becky Lynch's, Bayley's, and Britt Baker's, but they're all missing one thing that Rhea Ripley has locked down. She has done something that wrestlers at the highest level can only dream of. Rhea Ripley has transcended the squared circle. Wrestling is a business. Regardless of your bias towards your favorites, if they aren't drawing money, they won't get TV time. If they don't get TV time, they can't draw money. It's a cutthroat system that only allows for the cream to rise to the top.
I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah.
This is where Rhea is worth her weight in gold. She has the potential to draw an audience foreign to the wrestling atmosphere into the product. WWE consistently markets their wrestlers and products on programs outside of the WWE network. It's basic advertising. Yet, with wrestling being such a niche form of entertainment, it's unlikely that consumers of mainstream media are going to give wrestling a try because of those appearances. However, this formula does not apply to Rhea Ripley. Rhea has become a hit on TikTok, amassing over 2 million followers in just 6 months, whilst consistently breezing past 1 million views per video. Additionally, she has just a few followers on Instagram and Twitter at 3 million and 1 million respectively. Say what you will about social media. Adolescents consistently consuming all things Rhea Ripley is phenomenal for the WWE brand. Advertising towards an impressionable audience is a corporate hive mind's dream. The WWE would be remiss to not strap a rocket to her. Rhea Ripley is a beautiful example of the phrase right place, right time. With the explosive trends of body acceptance, goth women, dominant women, and muscular women, nicknamed muscle mommies, the character of Rhea Ripley is almost too good to be true. For as much as they're giving her right now, it might be an oversight to not give her even more. If I'm working with the WWE marketing team, I want her everywhere. Daytime TV, interviews, sporting events, etc. Anywhere that she's willing to go, pay her to be there. She's an exceptional example for young women. Her look is more than memorable enough for an attention deficit internet crowd. She checks all the boxes for a WWE superstar, and she deeply believes in the impact and the influence she can have on the business.
I'm here to make history. Growing up in Adelaide, South Australia, I always got told that my dream of coming to the WWE would probably not happen. So just making it here is such an accomplishment, but being the first Grand Slam champion to have those exact championships is so satisfying.
Let's not pretend that Rhea Ripley's success can only be boiled down to a pretty face and internet trends. If you're part of that crowd, shut up. She looks fantastic, cuts a great promo.
3 years ago, I had just turned 24, my career was just getting started, and I was the NXT Women's Champion. And I came here to Monday Night Raw, I stood in this ring, and I challenged the winner of the Royal Rumble match, Charlotte Flair.
And has become the de facto leader of the Judgment Day. She's a modern-day Chyna without all the bullshit politics preventing her from being one of the faces of the company. Additionally, Rhea is only 10 years into her career, and she is the face of the women's division at just 26 years old. With all that being said, it'd be naive to pretend that she's always had it. It, in wrestling terms, is often used to describe someone that has a complete understanding of their character. Her character work in NXT was fine, ranging towards good. Good enough to reward a call-up to the main roster, which started with a video package on February 22nd, 2021's episode of Raw.
Rhea Ripley does it again!
The nightmare is just beginning.
This is my brutality!
This package eventually led to her debut on March 22nd, 2021's Raw, just 1 month later.
Oh yes! Brutality has come to Monday Night Raw!
And less than a month after that, on April 11th, 2021, Rhea would defeat Asuka at WrestleMania 37 for the Raw Women's Championship.
Rhea Ripley!
Just 98 days later, she would relinquish that title to Charlotte Flair on July 18th's Money in the Bank.
The bridge is, the figure eight is in. That's it! A new champion!
Being called up and then winning the title in less than 3 months is nothing to scoff at. However, 98 days is a pretty transitional reign. Rhea needed something more. Unfortunately for her, she would bounce around in a few feuds from September of 2021 to April of 2022, and then spend time in the worst atrocity wrestling has ever created, the WWE Women's Tag Team division. She had more than shown she could be a main event star, but she was still lacking something. She needed an edge. She needed to go a bit darker. She needed to align herself with the scum of the earth. Pause. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We need to briefly mention how we got here. On May 8th of 2022 at Backlash, I'm never calling it WrestleMania Backlash, Rhea Ripley interfered in the match between AJ Styles and Edge, costing Styles the match. It was here that she debuted a much darker look and was revealed to be a member of the Judgment Day.
Rhea Ripley!
Fast forward to Hell in a Cell on June 5th, 2022. Edge, Damian Priest, and Ripley defeat AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan in a 6-person mixed tag team match. The next night on Raw, Edge introduced Balor as the newest member of the Judgment Day, and they all lived happily ever. I'm kidding, the whole group turned on him. The lack of having a Hall of Famer heading the Judgment Day showed, and the stable floundered for a little bit as they found their footing. Luckily for them, having just turned on Edge, it set up a potential feud. This would lead to Edge acquiring the help of an old friend and his son to combat the Judgment Day. Keep in mind, this is when Dominic Mysterio was easily considered the worst wrestler in the world relative to the TV time he was receiving. That's not opinionated, by the way. He was bad. This feud eventually led to a blow-off between the two groups on September 3rd, 2022's Clash at the Castle. Finn Balor and Damian Priest would lose a match to the Hall of Fame duo of Edge and Rey Mysterio. But after the match, Dominic would attack both his father and his current mentor, turning heel in the process and joining the Judgment Day.
Midday from their collective side. Oh my God! What the hell? Damn it, kid, what are you doing?
And thus, the current iteration of the Judgment Day was born. This would lead to Rhea's best and most consistent character work to date. She had found her edge as the de facto leader of a primarily male heel group. Or in simple terms, Spooky Goth Girl found her spooky goth friends. Also, side note, do y'all remember when Buddy Matthews, aka Buddy Murphy, was chasing after Dom's sister Aaliyah in one of the worst storylines of all time where Seth Rollins stabbed Rey Mysterio in the eye and Dominic looked like this? Has no one mentioned that now several years later, this has led to Dom shaboinking Buddy's fiance? In kayfabe, of course. Wrestling. Whether you were watching on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Discord, Twitch, Hopefully Patreon in the near future. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow, all those support type things. Your support keeps these videos coming. I love creating these videos, reading your comments, and interacting with y'all. The more you support these videos, the more I make. Now back to the show. Rhea's good in the ring, especially in comparison to the majority of female wrestlers in the WWE. That's not a jab at the women. They are taught to wrestle a specific style. It's not an exaggeration to say that she's overqualified by WWE's women's wrestling standards, especially because within the WWE, you don't have to be as strong in the squared circle if you have strong character work. A prime example would be John Cena.
You have a big mouth, John Cena.
Phenomenal character work, great storyteller, not the strongest pure wrestler. Additionally, if you are looking for the best representation of female wrestling, it's not in WWE. It's actually not in America. That title belongs to Japan, and no promotion within the States will touch that title for years to come. They've been doing it correctly for generations with names like Manami Toyota, Chigusa Nagayo, and more recently, Julia, who is the current best female wrestler in the world. Slight digression aside, outside of Rhea and a few others, the WWE product can be difficult to watch if you are strictly there for pure female wrestling. Luckily for us, one of Rhea's best matches features one of the previously shown women. On January 28th, 2023's Royal Rumble, Rhea Ripley, having entered as number 1, would set a record lasting 1 hour, 1 minute, and 8 seconds. This victory would lead to her calling her shot against an old rival, Charlotte Flair. The two would then face off on the grandest stage of them all, at WrestleMania 39 on April 1st, 2023. Let's dissect a few spots from that match. The first portion I would like to highlight is the avalanche German suplex botch, or at least that's what it could look like on first viewing. The setting for the spot is that Charlotte Flair is committing to her extremely effective top rope moonsault. The first instance of the sequence is Rhea Ripley hoisting herself up to the second rope to try and gain control of Charlotte's back. Charlotte counters and pushes Rhea away. Rhea quickly recovers and on the second instance shows great agility, this time leaping directly to the second rope. Rhea gets control and throws Charlotte, causing Charlotte to over-rotate and land on her stomach. It was a dangerous botch of a spot, if you ignore the details. Let's grab another angle and slow things down. When we slow it down, we can see that Rhea is holding a loose grip on Charlotte and slowly falls away from the turnbuckle instead of pulling Charlotte with her. As this is happening, Charlotte plants her feet on the top turnbuckle, positioning herself for a typical moonsault. She jumps, Rhea assists in the rotation, and let's go. What looks like a botched avalanche throwaway German suplex in real time is actually an extremely safe assisted moonsault. There is a deep level of trust and athleticism involved in this spot. The second sequence I wanted to highlight is extremely simple in comparison to the last. However, proper execution of the simple things are what separates the best wrestlers on the planet from their peers. This striking sequence is from around 5 minutes into the match, with Rhea throwing forearms into Charlotte's lower back. This spot could be considered a rest period if you aren't paying attention. Notice how after every forearm shot from Rhea, Charlotte immediately grabs for her lower back. She can't focus on the reversal because her body is reflexively responding to the damage it had just received. For you to completely understand this, think about when you bump your knee and your first instinct is to grab for it and protect it. It makes sense for Charlotte to attempt to nurse her back. Therefore, it makes sense for Rhea to exploit that discomfort and throw her into the ropes, resulting in more forearm shots to Charlotte's lower back. This spot reaches its finale when Charlotte stops nursing her injury and holds onto the ropes, reversing the flow of the sequence. She then briefly goes on the offensive before telegraphing a chop. Pause. With their history, the character of Rhea Ripley should know how effective those chops can be. And when we resume, Rhea displays this knowledge with a counter rarely used during chopping spots. She ducks the overcommittal from Charlotte, gets her hips under Charlotte's, and hits a smooth throwaway German suplex. I'll reiterate my previous points to make sure they stick. For as much as they're giving Rhea Ripley right now, it might be an oversight to not give her even more. If I'm working with the WWE marketing team, I want her everywhere. She's a modern day Chyna that can talk. She's unbelievably marketable, and she's only 26 years old. She could work in the WWE for another decade, eclipsing the meaning of a female superstar, and still have a whole life to live after the age of 40. Rhea is currently doing the best work of her career. If you haven't started watching yet, tune in now. What she's doing is special. It's rare to see someone firing on all cylinders. As of writing this script, she's 163 days into her title reign and shows no signs of slowing down. And if the WWE wanted to take some time to build up a formidable opponent for her, you could temporarily remove her from singles action and place her and Dom in the premier intergender feud of the last 20 years with, I don't know, Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins? Regardless of her next program, Rhea Ripley will remain in the spotlight. After all,
Mommy's always on top.
thanks for watching. If y'all are enjoying these videos, support them like crazy, share them wherever the sun shines, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd also love to make a Patreon to start sharing behind the scenes footage. Let me know if that's something that y'all would be interested in. Also, what should I make a video about next? The future of wrestling? The greatest wrestler on the planet? The greatest female wrestler on the planet? Or the current hidden gem of televised wrestling?